So the question of the day is, Kern, how do I get started with meal prepping? Now, this is a very interesting one because the term meal prepping or meal planning has been popularized, I believe, from the online fitness communities, especially the bodybuilding communities, where they go, oh, you really need to get into meal plans in order to get your nutrition on point. Now, it is quite important if you're going into a bodybuilding competition, it's really important to know exactly how much food is going inside your body. But the majority of people aren't going onto the bodybuilding competitions and the physique contests. So meal planning may not be as effective as a strategy for other people as it is for bodybuilders. However, I do believe that meal planning can be a great learning skill for a lot of people, so you have a better understanding on how you should portion your meals and how you should plan your meals ahead of time. And there is something quite useful about making the whole process robotic. So it's for that reason that I want to answer this question and hopefully give you some ideas on how you can get started with meal planning, even if it might not be a long-term sustainable solution. So the first thing with meal planning is you need to change your mindset from someone needs to just give me a plan or an A4 piece of paper with all the food on it, to one that you need to understand what is going on behind that whole process of meal planning. How are they portioning all the different types of carbs, proteins, fats, so you can create your own meal plans going forward, so you're more self-reliant going forward. Nutrition 101. Food is broken down into macronutrients and micronutrients. The macronutrients are the protein, fats, and carbs that everyone keeps talking about. The micronutrients are the essential vitamins and minerals that our body needs to create a positive environment within us on a cellular level. So it's important, equally important, even though a lot of people don't talk about it, micronutrients are equally as important as macronutrients. But for the purpose of meal planning, let's just stick to the macronutrients, the proteins, fats, and carbs. I want to give you a very general principle of how you should plan your meals, and I want to give you a bit of a visual. If you can imagine a whole circle as a plate of food that you're eating, roughly a quarter of it should be protein, a quarter of it should be smart carbs, and half of the plate, 2/4 of the plate, should be veggies. And sprinkled around that should be some fats. Once you've got that picture in mind, the next step is for you to understand where these sources are going to come from. So once you get that picture in mind, this is the starting point, by the way. This is the starting point. You can adjust this going forward, but this is a really good starting point to look at things. And I know half a plate of veggies sounds like a lot, but I highly encourage you to just start with it and increase it or decrease it moving forward. But half a plate of veggies, believe it or not, that's the amount that we need to cover off all the micronutrients that I was talking about before. Once you get this picture in mind, this whole plate, the next step is for you to understand where all these sources are coming from. So half a plate of veggies, you want to get comfortable with 2 to 3 different cooking styles, the way that you want your veggies. It might be sauteed, it might be grilled, it might be baked, whatever it is. Get comfortable with cooking veggies 2 to 3 different types so it actually tastes good. There are really creative ways to cook veggies, which I might cover in future videos, but get comfortable with 2 to 3 different ways. Same with protein. Pick your favorite protein sources. For me, it's fish and lentils and beans. For you, it might be chicken and beef and seafood. Whatever it is, get those 2 to 3 protein sources. Figure out a way on how to cook it. Chicken, it could be grilled. You might do lamb in a curry. Whatever it is, figure out your become a chef about this. These are your signature dishes. Figure out 2 to 3 signature dishes on your plate. And then the carbs. The carbs are easier because you pretty much boil it, right? Like rice, for example. For me, rice and brown rice, they're a good staple carb for me. For you, it could be something different. There are other types of carbs such as amarnath and millet. Those 2 grains are quite useful to have. People don't know a lot about it, but research a little bit about the carbs and figure out what your favorite carbs are. And then sprinkle a bit of healthy fats on top. And by sprinkling, the reason I say sprinkling is because fats are quite caloric dense. They are quite calorically dense. So sprinkle a bit of olive oil or avocado oil, or have a piece of avocado or some nuts around, and that will cover your fats. I haven't gone into the detail of portioning out your meals. I can do that in another video if you like. Let me know if you'd like to know more about it. I haven't gone into the details of portioning it. I haven't gone into the details of how you should cook your meals. If this is the stuff that you're kind of interested in, you want me to delve in deeper, let me know and I'll create another video for it. But I hope this is a great starting point for you to recognize that, all right, this is not that hard. Meal planning, meal prepping is not that hard. It'll save me time and it'll save me money down the track. And I need to understand the whole principles behind it rather than just following an A4 plan that someone has given me. Talking about A4 plans, I will give you an A4 food list that separates the food into carbs, proteins, fats, and I'll put a link in it at the end of the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, what you'd like to learn next, what you'd like me to go deeper into.